Hello and welcome. If you're just joining us, we're doing an Excel esports battle. We're going to have four of the world's greatest financial modelers battling it out to see who can solve a tricky problem in 30 minutes while we're all watching.
Hi, I'm co-hosting with Dim. I'm Hilary. My history with competition is that I competed back in 2013 when it was Modeloff and won. And I know Dim back from those days. I hope he still competes. And let's meet some of the competitors.
Yeah, so in the top left box, all the way from Australia, which means it is the middle of the night for her, which may be something of a disadvantage, we have Catherine Zhu, also known as Kat. Kat is a University of Melbourne graduate and a chartered accountant. She spent 9 years working at Accenture, and now she is a manager in the financial modeling team at KPMG. And in her spare time, she enjoys cooking and baking. Welcome, Kat.
Thank you.
And below that, we have Dhara Shah, who is representing India. She works in the healthcare sector. She enjoys reading mystery novels in her spare time. Welcome. Are you looking forward to competing today? I'm not sure she can hear. Shall we move on?
All right. Well, in top right, we've got Stephanie Annerose. Stephanie studied at Paris Tech and Oxford. She's a CFA charter holder, and now she's an investment banker working in the energy and power sector in Houston. And she, in her spare time, enjoys exploring the Houston restaurant scene and doing high-intensity interval training, which you've got to figure is a good way to psychologically prepare for what's about to happen. High-intensity Excel.
And finally, but not least, we have Barbara Mauric, who is from France, so it's a respectable middle of the afternoon time for her at the moment. And she uses her financial modelling skills in the shipping sector. And in her spare time, what little she has of it, she likes to ride motorbikes.
So let's hear a little bit from the competitors before we jump into the case. Kat, let me start with you, because I know all of the other three have been in one of these kind of live financial modeling or Excel problem solving events before. This is your first time doing it live, even though you've competed in the offline rounds. How are you feeling about it?
Yeah, good. Pretty nervous, to be honest. Not sure how it's gonna go. Try my best, I guess, to see how it goes. Excited as well to be here and give it a go. But yeah, so quite nervous, to be honest.
That's fair. I can tell you that I've done a few of these, and I have not got any less nervous over time. So that's not necessarily a disadvantage compared to everybody else coming into it.
That's good. Thank you.
Sarah, how are you feeling about going into the case?
Yeah, I think I'm
I
as
think
nervous.
you can't hear.
Oh, sorry. I think I'm probably, though Diarmuid said I've participated earlier, I'm probably as nervous as last time, maybe a little more so. But yeah, but it's great to be here and excited to be participating with all these great ladies.
So Stephanie, I know the last time you did this, you faced the dreaded Excelopolis case that almost killed you, me, and everybody else who tried it. I think the median score on that was about 6 out of 1,000. Although I learned an interesting trick or two for tackling it from watching you at it. Even though I know it didn't pan out on the day, but I'm guessing you're hoping for a slightly easier, or at least slightly more approachable question today.
Hopefully. I hope so too. That was one that I'm still like, okay, I was actually thankful that we had like the previous round just before. So I was like, okay, I was not on TV, like people were not thinking that I cannot solve any Excel at all. So yeah. So hopefully that doesn't happen today, but let's see.
I think it's fair to say that anybody who had tried that problem would not think that you should have been able to solve it that quickly. But speaking of trying the problem, if anybody finds themselves watching today and thinking, well, I could do that, well, you are going to want to download the case, which you can do by going along to the FMWC website right now. It's fmworldcup.com, I think. And you can download the case. It's free until the end of the live stream. So if you want to give it a go, if you want to play along at the same time as the players do, then you can go along and do that right now.
Yeah. And finally, Barbara, how do you enjoy competing like this live, or is it kind of mostly nerve-wracking? A bit of both?
A bit of both. And I'm glad Dean mentioned the Axelopolis, because while I was waiting to connect, I said, let's try that one. And I was getting a bit depressed, so now I feel not so bad anymore.
That might be the hardest one that there has ever been in this format.
Good. There were so many variables, so I have hope after all.
Yes, that's definitely a scary one to warm up on. So I want to make sure I haven't lost track of time, but I think it is time for us to go and see the video to give us a sense of the case the participants are going to be tackling today.
We have created Excel Esports Lottery for you. Actually, this is not a usual lottery. Each of the tickets in games number 1 to 100 will be paying out money. The lottery format is 7 out of 49. You need to guess 7 numbers out of the possible 49. Every week, for a total of 70 weeks that corresponds to levels 1 to 4, you are entering the lottery with the same combination of numbers. The payout will be dependent on what will be the numbers drawn during each week's draw. As you move up the levels, the rules of the lottery get more complicated. Finally, on week number 71 you enter the grand final, level 5, playing to split the bonus of $1 million with 30 other players. Specific payout rules are given in the model next to each level. This time, the participants will also be able to score bonus points. Only the first one to answer will get extra points.
Okay, so our participants have the case file now. They get a few minutes to actually, look at the details, and while they do, we can talk about what they're going to face.
Yes, I think it's an interesting case. A bit of logic, a bit of layout, a bit of kind of making sure that things can apply further down. I think it's pretty. It doesn't require much external knowledge, which I think is true for most of these cases. Most of the information is in the case, and yeah, kind of working out how they'll do on a lottery with a given lottery ticket. I think the bonus questions adds an element which I think is new to the FMWC, and it'll be interesting to see how the competitors approach that. So the bonus questions is there's a couple of questions, and only the first competitors to answer those questions get the point. So as they are reading through the case study, they may or may not be thinking, let's go straight to those bonus questions and try and get them out, and whether that affects some of their strategy.
It's a risky move if you want to make that play, because of course if two people make that same decision, then it's only going to work out for at most one of them. So that's never been in this before, and I'm glad not to be a competitor now that it's been added, because it's a very nerve-wracking choice.
Yes, yeah, because in these kind of cases, time is of the essence, and if you spend time at the beginning on trying to get the bonus questions out and you get no marks because somebody else goes for them as well, and that's wasted time down the line.
Yeah, it's scary. And just a quick thing, if you're watching this, if you're sort of newer to the format, you might be wondering, wait a minute, this is the Financial Modeling World Cup. That didn't particularly look like financial modeling. There's money involved, but it's not really financial modeling. And the answer is that there's sort of two separate pieces of the FMWC empire, so to speak. So the actual Financial Modeling World Cup itself is it's offline. It's separate from the esports piece. It's like a competition that runs throughout the year. There's a round every month or two where people tackle cases that are more like traditional financial modeling, like what you might do in your job. or what a wide range of different people might do in their wide range of different jobs. But then this piece, the Excel Esports piece, this is kind of specifically designed not to require any specific finance knowledge. So you'll see all 4 of these people are kind of highly ranked in the FMWC as well. They were all top 50 finishers last year, and you can see there's like CFAs and qualified accountants and other things. That finance knowledge obviously helpful in the main competition, but it's not going to help them today. And equally, if you're an Excel wizard but you don't have any finance knowledge, then you might want to give one of the competitions in this format a try. There's an open tournament in this format later on in the year, the FMWC Open, and if you're interested, you can. Oh, look, there's a pop-up on the screen about it right now. Then you can go to the FMWC website and check that out. Okay, so the participants have had a few minutes to read and prepare. Let's switch back to them now and see if they have any questions before we jump on in. Hey guys, so guys, oh, that's a bad habit to use on this one. You've all had a few minutes to look at the case. Does anybody have any questions before we dive on in?
Everybody's looking very serious.
That's the way. Gotta be nervous, otherwise you're not taking it seriously enough. All right, then let's get started. Okay, so that's the 30-minute timer started, and starting to see movement already.
Yeah.
I don't know. One of the first things I always am interested to see is who's going to try and do all their work right on the sheet that they start on, and who's going to start on a clean sheet. It's always a tricky balance because in kind of real life financial modeling, you'd often kind of spread out your calculations a lot more, but when you're trying to get it done in 30 minutes, there's something to be said for squeezing it all in.
Yeah, a lot of best practice, I think, goes out the window in cases like this. It's very good to know that best practice, but when you've got 30 minutes, you don't want to spend 10 of them on making sure everything is very readable and formatted nicely.
Totally agree. I see Dhara has already given a named range. I don't know if people saw that pop up, but it seems like a smart thing to do. So she's laid out her picks, and now she's named that range so she can keep referencing that as she moves down. That's a helpful way to start. And it looks like I see blocks of calculation taking shape. Cat seems to have the kind of fullest one, but there's definitely a lot of action on all the different screens here. Why don't we can we take a look at Cat's screen? Seems like she might even. It looks like she might have finished level 1. Let's see. I guess we'll see in a second if she gets the points when she pastes her answers in.
Yeah, so the competitors have to copy their answers across into an answer spreadsheet, and that's when we'll see if they have scored, and she has.
And she has, and she got them all right.
Very good.
All right, that's a flying start. Less than 2 minutes in, and she's cleared a level. That's excellent. I guess we should probably switch straight away to somebody else now, because it's going to take her a while to read the level 2 instructions. Why don't we go over to Dhara, see what she's doing? Is she? Oh, she's already on level 2 as well.
Yeah.
But it's interesting. She does not seem to have the points for level 1. Maybe she hasn't put them in yet, or maybe something was wrong. That's interesting.
Yeah, so we can't see, unfortunately, at the moment. Possibly she hasn't, as you say, possibly she hasn't copied them over yet. But yeah. So
just a quick explanation, if you didn't scan the entire text rapidly as it flashed by in the video. So obviously you've seen we're modeling kind of lottery ticket payouts. So the first level, they're just trying to figure out how many of the 7 numbers they picked have come up. Then each of the subsequent levels, there's a payout related to that. So level 2, it's just saying basically the earlier your number comes up, the bigger the payout. So it pays out 49 if you hit at the first number, 48 if you hit at the second number, all the way down to 1 if you hit it on the last one. So right now they're trying to figure out the score. It looks like Dhara is going for a very, very compact approach. You can see no calculation block there. It's all happening in one cell. It's an interesting contrast compared to how Kat did it. Why don't we switch again? Let's take a look at Stephanie. It looks like she's cleared level 1 as well.
A lot of flashing by going on.
A lot of flashing by. So one thing I do notice here. So Hilary and I both gave this question a try in advance, and actually modeled it quite different ways. It looks like Stephanie is doing something more like your approach.
Yeah, she's gone. I'm not sure actually. My approach was to so we've got here laid out which number is drawn on each turn, and I think the approach that I took, which I wasn't doing it under test time conditions, so I had an advantage there, and I think I definitely took longer than the half hour. Was to score each number and then work out which of the scores belong to me. Whereas I think, so for me, this is maybe closer to what you were doing. She's taken she's crossed up her numbers, and then she is working out where they're drawing, so using that match function to work out where in the array they have come, and then putting that across. And it looks like she has got her answers, and I see everybody has now cleared level 1. Either that or they've got some very odd scores. And interestingly, nobody's gone for the bonus questions as yet.
Oh, it's interesting. I'd actually forgotten all about the bonus questions in the excitement of watching everybody go out there. Oh, it looks like Stephanie got a full pass on level 2. So wow, we're flying through this. We're less than 5 minutes in. Everybody has cleared level 1. Stephanie has cleared level 2. This is going to be a fast-paced game, I think.
Yeah. Oh, and Stephanie's. We're looking at Stephanie, we can see, isn't it? Oh yeah, she's gone for the. So this bonus question, we did wonder if anybody would go straight for this after they read the case. This is what's the maximum possible score on any of the on each of the levels.
Oh, but I think she's got a typo in there.
I wasn't watching closely enough.
So I think she put in a 41 instead of a 43 right at the end. So I think she's actually slightly off on that one.
She has understood.
Looks like she hasn't noticed. Well, I guess
she wouldn't know. I suppose they can't. They haven't got the marking on it, have they? So.
Oh, that's tough because she had the right approach. Why don't we move around again? Let's take a look at Barbara. I guess we haven't been to Barbara yet. So it's interesting. Barbara has gone for a clean sheet. What approach is she taking?
Well, we got 49, so I'm presuming those are the numbers. Presumably, is she pulling out the?
So she's got example 2 up at the top. I wonder if she's trying to sort of solve one case and then do a data table to produce the solutions for all of them. Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess she's pulling out the numbers in the order they're drawn, and then she can change example 2 to be whatever number to calculate the rest. Okay, interesting.
Yeah, so.
Why don't we take a look back at Dhara? She was working on a very compact approach to level 2. Maybe we can see if that worked out for her.
It's going difficult.
It looks like she's spread it out now. I see she must have some supporting cells this time around.
Yeah, I think this is the kind of I think this is a kind of case where it's actually good to make use of the space on the spreadsheet, to lay out and kind of show what you're thinking, and it works well in the space. I think it's much harder to do it in one formula.
Oh, so it's interesting. I had used kind of match to check whether, if when I was trying to figure out if a particular number was present, I'd used COUNTIF or match. I don't even remember which, but this thing of just using a sum with an array formula to see sum of, I don't know if you saw it there, but the kind of n of that value equal to select the name range you gave to the picks. That's an interesting way of doing it.
Yeah.
It looks like it just needs to copy down the helper cells. I was thinking something might have gone horribly wrong there, but nope. No, that seems to be all right. Let's see if this works out. It looks like she's almost ready to complete that section.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember what kind of scores we're expecting for those. Those feel high to me. I'm trying to remember what the rules are.
Yeah, those. I think something's not.
Yeah, I had a lot of sympathy for Dhara's statistics. She said her most annoying thing in Excel was when the cell references aren't locked up correctly, so that when you look at another unless you use the word frozen, I would use the word lockup. I think it's the same thing where you say when you copy down, you're not referencing the right cells, and I wonder if that's what's happening.
I think she's multiplying by the ball value as well as by the position. Okay. I think if she takes that out, I think that's it. I think she's fixed it.
Right, perfect.
So I think she's gonna. Yeah,
There's
that 235 looks familiar. Oh, it looks like Barbara has now got stage 2 almost out, but it looks like there's maybe a bug or two in there. Let's see. Dhara might be about to claim the points for stage 2 as well. Okay.
Yes, she has.
So Stephanie is still quite a way, time-wise at least, quite a way ahead. Because she cleared it a few minutes ago. Why don't we check on Kat, see how she's doing with level 2?
Can we switch to Kat's screen? Here we are. She's taken a data table approach, which is what you were talking about, Tim.
Yes, and it looks like she's ready to. She's just got her answers, so let's see if it's all worked out.
They look familiar.
Yes, I see a 235 at least. That looks familiar. This is like an amazingly consistent group. Wait, did she just get the points and then lose them again? Did you? Oh no. Okay,
no,
there we go. Sorry,
I
thought I saw it disappear again. But okay, wow. So we've got Barbara's got a couple of wobbles, but in less than 10 minutes, all 4 of them have got the first 2 levels out. Okay, this is good stuff. So should we talk a little bit about what's involved in level 3? I guess, since that's what people are really working on now.
Yes, it's not interesting. It's not the same for every option. Sorry, I'm trying to remember. I'm hoping that Kat's going to help me out by scrolling down a bit.
So I think this is the one where if you hit on the sort of 5th, 15th, 25th, anything ending in a 5, then you get 100 points. And otherwise you get the number that's drawn times the position it's drawn in, but it can be either added or subtracted depending on whether you're in, I think, an odd or an even position. So like if you draw a 49 in the first position, then you get plus 49. But if you draw it in the second position, you'd get minus 98, minus 2 times 49. So your score can go up and down, but they should all end up positive if they're getting the numbers right.
Yeah. Should we hop over to Stephanie, because she finished level 2 first, didn't she? So let's see.
Let's see how she's doing. Oh, it looks like she's just filling in answers. Let's see if she's got it right. So for people who aren't necessarily familiar with the format, those examples up at the top, for each one, she's got it. She's cleared stage 3. That's amazing. We're still less than 12 minutes in. It looks like she's contemplating going for the bonus question there as well.
Yeah.
That would make her harder to catch.
For sure.
So, sorry, I was just saying the examples up at the top here, this is just a thing to help people calibrate. So, there's one example row given with this. So you should get 1, 4, 1, 2 as the answer on example 3. And then if that works, you can have some degree of comfort that your logic is going to copy down and work the same for the rest. Although, as with Barbara's level 2, you may have an edge case or something like that where it's not working. Should we go and see what Barbara is doing? I'm always curious whether people, stop and focus on debugging or move on when something isn't. It looks like she is working on level 3.
Yes, I mean, she presumably has no idea whether or not the answers are correct, so she may not think she has a problem.
Well, she may. It's not, I think, unusual for people to surreptitiously alt tab over to the live stream and see whether their score has updated. But
I've forgotten they can do
that. But so it's interesting. So her layout may actually be paying dividends now, because it took a while to set up that way. But you can see. She switched from example 2 to example 3, moving between levels, and it's that kind of handy, easy to work with format just stayed right with her. So there's still 17 minutes to go. There's a lot of time for that upfront investment to pay off still. Let's switch back over to Stephanie for a minute. What is she working on right now?
Is this the bonus question?
Yeah, I think she might be going for the bonus.
So this is
this looks familiar. So she's trying to work out the highest score that she can get with any ticket in this scoring system.
Yes.
Which, as far as I remember, is going to require. Let's see, was that? I don't remember if that was the right answer.
I don't remember either, but it essentially turned out to be you wanted to get high numbers on the numbers where it's positive, where it's multiplying and adding. Let's see if her score updates.
I think it's not the right answer because just kind of looking at where she had it there, I think you want to skip all the ones ending in 5s. I think she was using either 45 or 35. So that.
I think she might be missing one number. I think she's got 6 numbers, not 7, which is a shame because she's got exactly the logic right on both of those bonus questions. But so far, no marks for them.
Although it's interesting, even I mean, who knows? I don't know if the others have, but as the only one we've seen taking a shot at the bonus question, Stephanie has still managed to be a step ahead of everybody else. Oh, it looks like Barbara has cleared. I guess maybe not quite all of, but a chunk of level 2 now.
It might
can we switch over to Barbara's?
Because she was not 100% of she was not 100% on level 2, so she might have got all of level 3.
I think that she must have missed 1 or 2 on level 3 as well, because I think she was off by like 24 before, and now she's off by 44 versus Stephanie. So yeah, I think she must have missed a couple of those, but in any case, she's got most of them out.
Yeah.
I mean, if she can, level 4 and level 5 are quite similar.
Yes, the level 5 you need to get every. So level 5 is the payout between a group of people using the same rules as level 4, but you do need to have solved 100% of them correctly to be able to get the payouts right because they're dependent on the other tickets.
Yeah, that's right. So the money is split in proportion to the points that or the coins, I guess, that each person earns. And so if you get even just one person's coins wrong, that might make every answer for your splits wrong. So it's interesting. I mean, Barbara, if she cracks level 4, might crack level 5 very quickly, and then be hard to catch. But on the other hand, if she's a little bit off at the edge, then that could mean no points on level 5. So that's interesting.
Yeah, I'm really intrigued. I wish I could understand what she has done that's allowed her to get partial points on it, most of it correct.
Why don't we take a look at Dhara, see what she's doing? I will say it doesn't make the most exciting viewing, but having done a number of these things, stopping to think for a second like that might actually be one of the better strategic moves. Ooh, that's quite a formula. Mod that equals 5. Oh.
So mod 5 is she's looking for the 5, 10, but it's not just that, is it? Because it's not the 10s as well.
Yeah, I ended up doing the same as I think I saw Barbara doing. I used the pluses, minuses, and hundreds along the top when I was working on this. But yeah, I looked at it and in my head I sort of thought, oh, it's multiples of 5, but it's actually ending in 5. So if you're not familiar, mod basically gives you the remainder when you divide something. So you can use it to figure out, is this a multiple of 2? Is it a multiple of 5? It's very helpful for anything that kind of cycles around, or if you want to do, payments only in certain months in a quarter or that kind of thing. But in this case, it looks like that she's checking for mod 5 equals 0.
Yeah, and then mod 2
mod 2 equals, sorry, yeah, no, I beg your pardon. I'm maligning her. She has got a second check in there for it.
So yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So that's
multiple of 5, but not a multiple of 2. So that will come out right. That will give the 5s, but not the 10s.
Yep. Absolutely.
100. Otherwise, I can't see her entire formula because we've got the scoreboard at the top. But I'm pretty sure we'll see.
Yeah, it looks like her logic is good.
Yeah.
Although, as with all these things, if it looks good at a glance, there could be, you know, one little slip wrong, one dollar sign in the wrong place or anything. Why don't we take a look at Kat? I don't think we've seen her screen for a little while. See how she's tackling level 3. One thing that I find really interesting is I think both you and I, when we did this, we had at least one block of like 49 columns to work out like something for each ball drawn. I think we did it slightly differently, but we both did that, where it seems like all of these guys are going for something much more compact. There's only like 7 or 10 or 12 columns and quite a lot of them.
I think Kat's gone for, she has got that array of 49, but she's transposed it essentially.
Oh, you're right. Yes. Yeah, you're right. So she's just solving the case and data tabling. Yeah, I remember. Sorry, we saw that before.
Yeah, which I think is really interesting because it's not the way it's not. I don't use data tables a lot. I know that you're more proficient with them than I am. Is it easier that way for a data table, or is it just that she finds it easier to think about it that way?
I suspect it's just easier to think about it that way.
Yeah, I mean, it's easier to see.
The data table will be happy to take it in whatever order.
Yeah, I've assumed that would be the case. I just didn't know whether it would might be more easy to apply defaults.
But I mean, I will say if I were kind of pulling it onto a separate tab or into a separate section and laying it out, I would also kind of just intuitively prefer it that way, like numbers laid out down the side and then kind of read everything across. Oh, Dhara has just cracked level 3, so we've got
her formula was right.
Dhara and Stephanie tied on 420.
Yeah.
So yeah, the logic was good, and I guess this is as good a time as any to mention that in the event of a tie, which I guess is very possible, the first person to reach the score that they're tied on gets the win. So if the game ended right now, which it certainly hasn't, then Stephanie would win because she got to that 420 first. But you know, it's the kind of thing where any you know, bonus question or anything might change everything.
And in fact, Dhara, because we know that Stephanie's attempted the bonus questions, and she has so frustratingly has got the logic right, but made a small error. But so she presumably is unlikely to revisit those. She might check them if she has time at the end. That's what I would do. But if Dhara decides to go and have a look at the bonus questions, she's got some points still to be picked up there because there hasn't been a correct answer hinted yet.
Yeah, it's interesting. And I guess in theory, the one thing is for the bonus questions, there is that little there's that sort of space in their sheet where they can see have the bonus marks been awarded to someone. So that does effectively tell you if you put an answer in and that stays blank, then you haven't got it right. So I mean, maybe Stephanie hasn't noticed that, or maybe she has and just said, well, it didn't work, I better move on. It's, you know, time pressure. It's hard to know what to do when your answers are wrong. Should you stop and debug, or should you keep moving? Why don't we, speaking of that, keep moving? Let's take a look at Stephanie again, see if she's close to cracking level 4. Or is it 3, 4? Yeah, 4 she's on now, right?
Yeah, I think so. And I think probably level 4 is where the majority of the time is now left. There are a lot of points from level 5, but I think it follows pretty easily from the logic for level 4. Well, easily is a relative thing, isn't it? Under exam what
Yes, it's very, very easy for you and me to talk about things being easy, or indeed anyone sitting watching it at home to talk about it being easy, because there's no time pressure, there's nobody watching.
No, indeed.
But yes.
So in fact, Stephanie's giving us a great look at the rules. So so if you draw your ball on the turn on the same number face as the same number as turn as it is number ball, you get 1,234 points. If it's divisible by 7, then it's the product of the previous 4 turns, but that's only if it's not on its own turn. And any other turn, it's the product of the ball by the turn number. I think if I read that quickly, it's fast enough at speed. So for me, this ended up being a nested if. And it'll be interesting to see generally try and avoid. But
it's interesting with what you were saying earlier about best practice going out the window. It looks like Stephanie has done the product of the 4 previous terms using 4 index functions, which I would think of as like the exact kind of best practice that is great in like a real model that I would have completely thrown out the window in this scenario. But it looks like she's actually doing it in quite a sort of proper way, which, I mean, I guess some habits are hard to break, and if you're used to modeling in a certain way, then maybe it's easier to just keep doing that. But yeah, I was interested to see that rather than just a product of 4 cells that might reference something in a place it shouldn't.
Yeah, and but I will say her diligence doesn't seem to be holding her up time-wise. She's still leading the field.
Yeah. No, she's flying through. It's going to be interesting now, because we've got just under 6 minutes left, and so presumably almost any one of these could, in the 6 minutes that's left, if you cracked level 4, like if she gets the logic out here, she copies it down to 30 rows, she gets all those points, and then it's relatively quick. Like with 5 minutes left, she could certainly make the adjustments to make that do level 5 as well. Like, I would say Stephanie is, if things go well, she's certainly not more than kind of 5 to 10 minutes away from getting a perfect score here. But obviously, under time pressure, things don't always go well. Let's see.
Shall we hop over to Dara and see how she's coming? Because she must be working on the same level as well.
Yeah, let's.
An
X lookup going on. The Team Microsoft will be glad to see modern Excel being used. Interesting. So now Dara has switched to laying it out on a separate sheet. And interestingly, she's laying it out horizontally compared to Barbara and Kat both laying it out vertically. So this is where Barbara, having done that right from the start, could be saving some time right now in setting up for her level 4. So Dara has got her setup going. Why don't we actually go see what's Barbara up to at the moment? So
she looks like she's trying 1%, 10%. She looks like she's trying to solve and in fact she must have got level 4 out because she's quite close in scores to the others.
Kat just got to 420 as well. Wow, this must be like the most consistently performing group that I've ever seen in this, because it's usually there's someone, sometimes it's me, Excelopolis, who's like floundering along on like 0 or maybe got level 1 out or something, but everyone is firing on all cylinders right now. It's great. Sorry, Hilary, you had figured out the 1%, 10%. I was
I was wondering if she's trying to solve level 5, but except we haven't. So unless she's done that and not put it through, but the 1% is that kind of it looks to me like an allocation of it is level 5. She's
right. At. Oh, that is super interesting. So we may see Barbara suddenly leap up from behind.
Yeah, she's trying to solve 4 and 5 concurrently.
Let's take a look back at Stephanie. See how she's getting on.
Yeah.
Oh, so it looks like something has. Oh, I bet one of those indexes accidentally has a potential 0. So that's probably what's causing it. So if you use an index argument that ends up being 0 in some cases, that'll give you that spill. Okay.
There was a point when I thought, they might all get it all out, but I think at this point they're definitely not all going to get it all out with 2.5 minutes left.
No, that is probably not going to. Although the interesting question is now, if any one of them grabbed the second or third bonus question in the last 2.5 minutes, which is not trivial but doable, they would leap into the lead and might be free and clear.
If Dara or Catherine go for the 49 plus 48 plus those first 7 numbers, that would take them in the lead. Whereas at the moment, Stephanie is in the lead on time.
Yeah, that's right. Now,
but it's all very well for us to say that when
Yes. Well, it's like a long-standing tradition that people start, freaking out and using rand between when it gets down to the last few seconds. It looks like maybe there's maybe there's not an error check in the scoring spreadsheet, because Stephanie's score just went down to 0 when she pasted in those answers, including some errors. So we might have to do a little debugging in the. Oh yes,
Yes.
now her score has picked up the error checking, and she's up to 574. So obviously, a number of them didn't work out. We knew that because there were value errors in there, but she's got a lot of it out.
Some of them, yeah.
And although still, anyone could be like about to crack it and copy down and then turn it. Let's take a look at Dhara. She's the one who's been on this level longest. She's maybe the most likely to catch up in the last 10 seconds or so.
Yeah.
Or I guess Barbara could as well. If she was looking at level 5, she might have a surprise in store for us. Let's see.
So that's
It looks like
Oh.
It looks like Dhara has switched back to doing it on just this tab now. So Stephanie's debugging seems to be paying off. She's jumped up to 629.
I think she's essentially uncatchable now, isn't she?
Well, I don't know if anyone gets out, like it gets a full answer to level 4, they'd jump ahead of her, because she's still got something not working there, I think. But yeah, I mean, the question now, if you're Stephanie, is do you go on? I guess the way level 5 is set up, you don't go on if you have anything wrong in level 4, because you probably don't get any of the answers right in level 5 unless you have all of level 4. Okay, well, it's the last 5 seconds. Is anybody going to copy paste in the last 5 seconds? No, they're not. Wow, that was very dramatic. So Stephanie ended up getting 95% of level 4 as well as all the other levels out, and basically everybody got all of the first 3 levels aside from a couple of little kinks for Barbara. Wow, that was intense. Why don't we go talk to our winner? Stephanie, congratulations.
Did you enjoy that? I don't know if she can hear us yet. I remember you saying, Dim, that you once forgot to set your timer and you weren't sure when, you hadn't noticed when the case was finished.
That did happen to me once, but it's I think we've got her now.
Something was wrong somewhere.
I know we were watching you debugging in the last few minutes, but you were the only one to crack into level 4 at all. So you even without completing the debugging, you came out on top. So congratulations.
Thank you.
How did it feel?
No, it was really interesting, like this one, to try to find all the tricks to make it work. So the first one was like easier, and it was like good to put you into like how can I say, in order, into like thinking about the match, and then afterwards just try to complicate a little bit the formula to get there. So
yeah, well, you were on fast form right from the get-go. I think you cleared that first level in less than 2 minutes. That's
okay.
That's very impressive. Yeah, we were wondering right at the end whether someone would be able to suddenly get all of level 4 out and catch you up, but
you had an early
didn't make it. Yes, you were the front runner all the way through. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Why don't we bring everybody else back in and we can hear how it went for everyone. So Barbara, we saw it looked like you were working on level 5 toward the end there as well as level 4. We were wondering whether you were going to sort of suddenly add 600 more points. What was happening?
It's actually, I didn't mean to. I thought I was doing level 4, and then when I thought I was done with level 5, I was looking for the next level, and I was like, oops, I should have done level 4. It would have been easier. So I kind of messed it up.
Oh no, I'm sorry to hear that.
No, it's okay. Happens.
tough.
But it was interesting. I mean, with the percentages and the payout, level 5 was great. It was a very nice case. So
I liked your approach, kind of laying everything out in a separate sheet. I thought it looked like it was kind of paying dividends as time went on. That it was kind of easier to set up the later levels.
Mm-hmm.
That was nice.
Thanks.
Dara, it looked like you definitely had some of the more complicated formulas in there, but I mean, you got a couple of levels done in kind of single cells, so that was pretty impressive. Tell us what was going on.
Yeah, I think, so I think probably the nerves got to me. I read a couple of questions wrong, especially in level 2. So I think I got stuck there. So I could complete level 3, but then I ran out of time ultimately.
Yeah,
Maybe a couple of minutes more, but yeah.
The time pressure is always killer.
Yes.
So, Catherine, it looked like you were laying things out to sort of set up for a data table solution. Is that what was happening? We weren't 100% sure.
Yeah, exactly. So it was, I think from level 2 on, was trying to use data table.
It looked like you were
Sorry.
pretty close to getting that next level out. How do you think? You think you were pretty close?
I started on level 4 and then my timer went up, so I wasted a bit of time on level 3 and turned out to be an anchoring issue, which was a bit of a bummer. Like, I tested with the numbers there, was like, yeah, everything looks right, but my number wasn't adding up to the example. So, and then when few cell down was anchoring issue. So yeah, that was that. About a good 5-10 minutes probably from there. So lessons learned.
Yeah, 5 or 10 minutes. It's not that much in the real world when you've got like hours to work through something, but in this format, it's killer.
Yeah.
I'm really curious. We saw Stephanie take a shot at a couple of the bonus questions. Did anybody else give them a try, or was everyone else sort of going straight down the path?
I didn't try also because I was checking sometimes the answers that were going through, so I didn't know if the others had attempted, and it felt like could have been a waste of time if maybe some other competitor had tried them. So I didn't dare.
Yeah, it's a high risk format.
Yeah.
Stephanie, you'll probably see this when you look at the video later or look at your model later. But on that first bonus question, you had just a tiny typo at the end. I think you put in 41 instead of 43 or something like that. And so like your logic was, you nailed it, but you didn't get any credit, which is, we felt very bad for you because it looked like you were the only one who took a shot at 2 of the bonus questions and had the logic like almost all there, and then so it's yeah, but you never know. If you'd stopped to check them, then maybe you wouldn't have got that next level out. It's tough under time pressure.
But and congratulations to you, Stephanie, who has, I think, a ticket now for the FMWC Open later in the year. So we look forward to seeing more of you.
Yes, and again, a reminder for everyone, watching at home, especially if you watch this and thought, "Oh, that's easy, I could do that." You're wrong, or maybe you could, but you couldn't do it easily. That's for sure. But if you think this looks like something that would be fun for you to do, then check out the FMWC Open. It is an open access version of this tournament, and there's like a kind of qualifier round, and then 128 people go into like a giant sort of March Madness style bracket to get whittled down 2 by 2 by 2 by 2 by 2 to a single final winner. And all the rounds of that are live on YouTube as well. So it's a lot of fun. If you're into this sort of thing, which I assume you are because you're watching an XL Esports live stream event.
Either into it or lost.
I think people know what they're here for. Yeah. It's XL's Esports. Where else would you want to be?
That's true. Excellent.
All right. Well, congratulations to all 4 of you. I was saying to Hilary as we were getting toward the end, this is actually the most like consistent performance I think I've ever seen in one of these rounds. There's usually somebody who's like flailing or just doesn't get there, and you all like got all of the first 3 levels. that's impressive. It's tough to have to only give it to one person, but it was an impressive finish by Stephanie. So nicely done. All right, it's back to us. I can't. Are we just saying
I think
thanks
we're
for
wrapping up.
watching? And
Thanks for watching. Have a go yourselves, which I think you've plugged successfully. I'm Hilary. Hilary from Operas. A lot of my teammates, I think, colleagues compete and do rather well. And it's been lovely to host this women's event.
yes, and I think you guys must be the only company that has like 2 modeling world champions, right? Not that you guys want to brag or anything. All right. Well, I realized as you kind of said that I never introduced myself in the first place, but the name's right there. I'm Diarmuid, and it has been my pleasure to co-host this event with Hilary. Thanks everyone for watching. Thanks to AG Capital and Microsoft, who are the sponsors of the event, and obviously the Financial Modeling World Cup team, who organize it and do all the work to make these jazzy live streams happen. It's certainly way beyond my video making skill level. Thanks for everybody who tuned in, and congratulations again to Stephanie.